So I'm out here today in Silver Spring with Kyle Farrell, and we're getting ready to put a bath fan in. We're going to try to do it step by step and sort of show you some of the nuances with it. Say what's up, Kyle.
Hey, what's up? How's it going? Solid. Oh, you know what? He said it has a light.
What? Yes.
Do you know if it's... How old is this house? How old is this house?
And right now you're just prepping, right?
Yeah, I'm prepping. So what I'll usually do is take this out and get the marker traced out. This will go up like where the fan is to be able to cut the right size hole out. So I'll get all this stuff figured out, all the styrofoam pulled out of it, everything just like laid out in like a flat line and ready for install once it goes into the house. Yep. Spaces, so built really compact, really thin, so that it'll fit pretty much anywhere. You pop this screw out and this whole back housing pops out, and then this is where all the wiring is set up, like the back base of it. So go on and pop that screw out, throw it in the box, and then this whole thing goes off.
What is that for exactly?
This is for the wiring, and then this is the backdraft damper for, you know, that hooks up to the side of the fan motor, lines up with the fan motor, and then keeps cold air from coming back in. And then back in this, you have all of the wiring. So ground, let's untangle this. You can see what's going on with it because it's all jumbled up right now. You have your ground off to the side, and then you have everything for your light, everything for your switch. So all your neutrals will go together. These white wires go together, and then these will be wired separate to the switch if you have separation with the switch, or it can be wired together. It doesn't really matter. You can have both of them come on, but for us, we'll wire it separate. The fan won't kick on the same time as the light, like separate controls for it.
Gotcha.
Yep. Then you pop this guy out. And then this is where the wire goes. So
You mean
have,
from the house, the original?
yeah, from the house.
Nice.
So there will be a little like clamp connector that pops into here that will hold the wire tight in place once it gets into this, and then it'll be all sealed off and held tightly together.
So it doesn't move around.
So it doesn't move around, so it doesn't have the capability of popping out and touching anything and shorting on anything like that. For these fans too, so some fans, when you put them in like retrofit, house is already built and there's drywall up, you have to put braces in, right, to hold it up into place. But for these ones, you tuck it up into place, and this brace right here, you screw it into a side truss if you can get to one, and it'll lock it into place. That way you don't have to have a brace on the other side of it. Usually you screw one side to the truss, another side is braced.
I gotcha.
Yep, so this pulls it tight to where you don't have to do
Now,
that.
all the fans have that or not?
Just these ones, just the low pros, because they're so, it's meant for tight spaces. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Cool. So
Yep.
this is a low pro. Cool.
This is a low pro. Yep.
Awesome.
Still really a low zone. Kind of see the side of it. It goes like 0.3, what is that, 0.4, and then 0.9. Goes from the 50, 80, 100 CFM increment. At 100 CFMs, it's 0.9, 80, 0.4, 50, 0.3.
Gotcha. Cool.
Yep.
That's pretty good.
We're good.
Getting ready to head into this house and take care of this bath fan. Try to give you step-by-step directions. Here we go. So we are in the bathroom and we are prepping for the install of this fan. We're putting some plastic down just to make sure it doesn't, you know, get debris in the drain and all over the place. So once you get the plastic down, what's going to be the first step here?
I am going to go up into the attic. I'm going to pull that shroud down, and then I'm going to go up into the attic and check the way that it's braced in. If it's screwed in from the top, I'll unscrew it from the top. If it's screwed in from the bottom, I'll see it when I pull the shroud down, and I'll unscrew it from the bottom. If it's nailed in, I'll take a pry bar and pry it out. This is like one of the most important parts, is that you don't have to worry about cleaning for a ton of time.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm gonna lay this down. These pull-down attic hatches have heavy wood base.
Gotcha.
They scratch the wood floors up. If it was a carpet, I wouldn't think too much about it, but if it's hardwood, probably a good bet. Put this down. Don't scrape anything up. Yep. That stuff slides around if you step on it, so you have to be really, really careful. Yep. Pull this down and take a peek. See what's going on up top. It's tucked in there.
What?
Here. I'm gonna take a look at it down there first.
Okay.
See what's going on with it. Oh, it's caught.
So what were the two things that you unplugged? One was for
this one's the light right here on the right hand side or left hand side, and then the other one's the light. Just so that way I'm a little bit more flexible. And then we'll bring pry bar in case we need to get behind the fan and pop it off. And then screw gun impact.
Gotcha.
Figure out what's going on. I'm gonna grab this just in case any other bits. Cool. I'm gonna get it off. And look, this is another good thing. We have that low pro.
Right.
So this fan might be right underneath of the duct. I don't know where it's at until we unbury it.
Right.
But there is over here. If you pan to that, Eric, that termination where this goes out. Yeah. This will take us right to the fan.
Right.
Right.
That's a good trick.
Right. So if you follow it from there, figure out where it's at, grab it. Go. You're able to get to the fan from that.
So let me see. What are we talking about here?
Go deep in there. Here, I'll snag it and I'll show you. So this is bad. This is bad. Not bad. I mean, it's doable. It works, right?
Right.
But if it's 6 inch, right here, this base for the fan is 6 inches, and then it goes to 4 inches. It cuts the flow off as soon as it drops down from here to here. And then it'll slow the air down in the fan, and it's not going to operate as well as it should if it were 6 inches all the way through. This is a 4 inch line. So that's a 6 inch diffuser. So the one that I put in is 4 inches from factory. Oh, okay. So it's meant to run with a 4 inch line. But if I was putting a 6 inch line fan in, I would run a 6 inch line all the way to the outlet. Yep.
So that fan is right on the other side of the duct.
Yeah, and it what I'll probably end up doing with it is cut this right here. Because I want it facing the exact same way. So I'll cut this right here, this piece of wood, and then run the duct underneath of here, and then have a smooth pathway all the way to that outlet. Yeah. And strap it down, every 3 to 5 feet. That way it's tight. And when Ivan's doing the ceiling, or if anybody comes up here and does anything at all, it stays in place. It won't shift, and which we'll get to in a second. Right now, I just want to unbury it and see what it looks like and get all this insulation out of the way so it doesn't
fall into
fall in when I do it, and some's gonna fall in no matter what. Like what I do it, you know, I can't get it like relatively clear.
Right.
See this bathroom, I think. All right, it's screwed in too, so we're good. With that.
So there's a lot that goes into putting these fans in.
Yeah,
it's not just...
And this is easy because the wiring is like really good for it. It's like newer wiring, newer switches.
But it's like the wiring is easy, but then it's like hard to get to, and there's a lot of insulation. So there's always some challenge, I feel like.
Right. Yeah. 100%. Yep.
I mean, I guess every once in a while you get everything to line up.
Easy one every once in a while. Dude, I'm gonna grab a mask too.
Yeah, it's dust.
Okay.
So what were you saying?
So right now it's vented out, right?
Yeah.
If it's not vented out, immediately when I get into the attic, I'm thinking of a pathway that I can vent it to where it makes sense. It's straight. Likely with this one, if it wasn't vented out already, I would run it this way across this hatch and straight out the back of the house.
Gotcha.
Or if this wasn't the front of the house, because this is the front of the house looking at it,
Right.
I would run it, straight and right through the roof.
Right.
That way it's, immediately out.
Shortest possible.
Tight
run.
duct run. Yeah.
So what you're basically saying is before you start venting it out, you want to pick a pathway that makes most sense towards the back of the house.
Yep.
That's
Check
the
it.
shortest possible run.
Yep. Shortest possible run. Check it. Make sure there's nothing blocking me from being able to do it. Just have a game plan already set of the way that I want it to be done.
Right.
The way that it should be done. Yep.
Gotcha.
All right. We're good to go. So unbrace it now. I'm actually going to do this top this guy off. So this is what I was talking about outside, is that this fan is set up as a brace from truss to truss. So it doesn't lock in and pop into place, and you don't have to put any support in to hold it up. The fan's installed from the top. Like you drop it into place, you cut the hole, you drop it into place, and then you brace it to the trusses. The one that I have, it's braced from down below and then pops up.
Got it.
Yep. So here there are two. And then I think you put in that. This screw there. Oh, dude, it's tight in there.
Tight.
Yeah. I may have to cut it off
Okay.
to be able to get to.
Where would you cut it off from? Up
side.
here or down?
So you can't from the top.
Okay. You can't get the. You have to use the saw though, because you can't get the.
I can't get enough pressure on it to stay in there. Right on there. Hold on. Let me see. There we go. There's one side. There we go. Yeah.
Nice.
I'm getting ready to do it.
Yep, I got you. Say hi.
Hi. You know what?
What's up?
I am going to do it from down below. Once I do get it disconnected.
Okay.
I'm going to disconnect the wires from up here. And then do that from down below. Just a little bit. Right here. Okay. Whoever did this, looks like. There we go. Let's take that out. And there are no hot wires. There are no hot wires on this at all.
Okay.
And we'll leave this exactly the way that it is.
Yeah.
And just pop this into the new fan, yeah?
Yep.
So I'll go through. Which one? So you can see this one's the light. It's already wired that way. So I'll be able to tell which one is which
If you leave it.
if I leave it. But what I'm also gonna do to help ease this process, because you're not always gonna remember what is what, is I'm gonna write it on the specific wire with the pencil that I have.
I got you.
Light. That way I know when I'm hooking it up. Because otherwise it's gonna be really challenging to remember.
Yeah.
And what side is what. So take these guys. And this side.
This is all the wiring up from the old fan
This is all the wiring from the old fan
to the house,
to the house.
and then we're going to disconnect it all.
And this one is the light. I'm gonna mark it first. So this one is the light. You don't need to do anything specific. If you want to write light on it, you can. I can just mark this and I know that that one's the light,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That one's marked, that one's not. So we're good. Now we can snip these. I'll leave this here for a second.
I got you. Yep. So what we're talking about now is the hole in the ceiling.
Right. It's just a little bit too small, yeah. And I am gonna have to cut like a brace for this one. So you see the way that the fan was installed before, is it's like in the center of the trusses, it's not off to the edge. So we are gonna have to put a brace in. I'm sure it locks into place.
I got you.
And for this, you just line it up to like the outside of this, whatever straight edge you have, and then line it down, and we're basically just tracing the opening for the install of the new fan, which is just barely bigger than this one. We're good.
And how are you going to cut that?
I'm gonna cut it with the oscillating tool over here. Let me show you. This is the easiest way to do it. I mean, you could do this, or you could do a drywall saw. This is a little bit easier, not as much effort. The tool does everything. It's just got little blades, and this piece moves back and forth. Kind of goes along with whatever marking you made. Let me grab wood. Do I have any? I hope I do. Like, these blades are like so dull now.
So talk me through what you're doing right now.
I'm just putting a brace system in. So this will lock in the fan.
And meaning because the hole for the fan is between, you mentioned upstairs, right?
Yeah.
Because the hole is in between the joists and there's
Right.
not enough, it's not close enough to the joist
Correct.
for the fan to get fastened, or I guess.
Yeah, via that side piece.
Right.
Because there is a way to mount it to the side.
Mounted, right?
Yeah, it won't
Okay.
attach that way. So these, I'll attach this to the truss up here, and then this on the other side, I'll put it, I may have enough clearance to get it on the truss. Let's see once we get to it. Yeah. I'm actually gonna do, here, I'm gonna retrace this on the other side because it makes more sense than like this. Because the fan is gonna mount to that.
I got you. So
Whatever you do.
you're saying you have to think about which side you're going to trim out for the hole, because you want to get everything sort of to the point where you can utilize both of the joists.
Both of the joists, yeah. Yeah, and I don't, this side it probably still won't hit the joist.
But you need to
it's,
be closer.
I need this side for sure.
need all
if
the
I
space.
if I cut out this portion of
Right.
it,
I saw
then
that
it's
too.
not,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna have a place to put the brace at.
Exactly.
Yep.
I noticed that.
Yep. So this side has to come out.
I see.
Yep.
These are little
Yeah,
nuances.
things that you like think about beforehand too. That way, have to worry about like when you get to it. It's like, oh, what do I do here because I cut out too much? I was supposed to.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. So then for here. Good. We can break the rest of it off. It's not a big deal if it's a little bit further than what the line is, because there's like a half inch lip on the side of the fan that'll tuck over all of this. If it's a little bit bigger, it's fine. You just don't want to go too big and it has nothing to press up against to lock into place. Then we can just break this off and we are good. And then another thing, this is kind of tight. So go and check your corners and make sure the corners are clean edges, because they catch on the corners every once in a while too.
Gotcha.
So see how this one's got like a little bit left in it? Just go through and peel back all the corners on everything. Sure
Just try to
that
get those
nice and
Get
clean.
everything to be a nice square if you can.
Yeah. Yep.
Otherwise, you'll be having fits later.
Right. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. there's a little piece right there. We're good.
So talk me through a little bit about the next steps as we're getting ready to go through them.
So the next steps, I am going to pull that wire through. There's only about 3 inches through that little connection piece right there. So I'm going to pull it out just a little bit so that way there's more slack to be able to work with it. Once it goes into this back box. Show you. Once it gets into there, I lock it into place. You know, if it's short, if it's only 3 inches, it's going to be just barely outside of the box. It just makes it challenging to work with. So give it about the same amount of slack that this has, right? So that the wires are all even. Probably what I'll do is I'll just line it up with this very outermost wire and then be able to kind of like tie everything together in the same place. So all the wires are the same length. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yep.
That's a little slow pushing to make it easier.
Very easy, yeah. Yep. And then work on getting everything shifted and put into place.
Cool.
Yep.
So we need to look at the switch wire.
To see the way that it's wired from here, because if there's like one hot wire for it, it should be good on one side. If there's multiples, or if it's ran the way that I think that it's run, we're gonna have to shut everything off. Shut like the power off up here. It might be hooked to this. Sometimes I'll hook this in into everything else. Let's see. Oh, cool. It's a retro box. So it can be pulled out if it's absolutely necessary.
Actually tells you.
Yeah.
What you're saying here, you're gonna lengthen where
These
that
wires.
little, where it comes out of that
Yeah.
metal brace, I guess. So that
Yep.
it's in line. I gotcha.
So there's a
That's
little
gonna-
bit more
I see, 'cause
slack
that's
on
gonna
it.
Tap right into the top of this box.
Oh look, and it's labeled light. So I labeled it out there. I didn't see that. That's good. So they were thinking about that,
Yeah.
like helping someone out
Yeah.
long term. Yeah, probably for themselves. I don't know anything. I'm actually gonna clean this up right now while I have it.
Yeah.
While I have it, I'm gonna get all of these to like the same length. That way, when I go and I do that length, and they're all the same. There we go. And then this part, see, we'll cut it right about. You know what, I should, for this too, let me show you, I'll show you in a second. Get this wire like stripped off. So for this, when you're doing this, you have to feel it out, right? So there's, you know, a little blade right here, little blade, just like scissors pretty much. And you get just barely past this insulated line right here, like this insulation. Because if you go too far, you're gonna cut into the wire, and then at some point, if they end up touching each other, it'll short out.
Got it.
And it'll blow the breaker downstairs. So you just wanna get barely below this and trim around it.
To get the plastic off.
To
so
get
you
the
can
plastic
the
off.
wire.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yep. And then, of course, too, like checking at multiple points. It's not hot, nothing's hot on it. Good. Now we are good And we can put these lines in here.
So now we're putting in like the new fan.
The new fan. Yep, we're getting into the point of putting in the new fan. So this wire is long enough. It's always good to have like a little bit more than what you need
Right.
than not enough. And I always do these screws pointing towards me. Best way to be able to work with it. There we go. Good. This guy locks everything into place.
Now how does that get locked in?
I have that the stripper, the wire stripper, has these little notches in it to lock on to those little rivets you see on the outside edge.
Oh, so
like
that
close up.
spins in.
Yeah, like a screw,
Oh, I
like a
see.
screw.
So that's what clamps it in. It kind of spins together and then clamps in.
Yep, and then you see on this, it's got these two little divots in it, to where it'll lock on to those, and you spin it just to tighten it to where it won't move, do anything. And now, I mean, you can pull on this. You can pull on this. It's not going anywhere.
Gotcha.
And then we have this one is the light. The left-hand one is the light. The right-hand one is the fan. And we'll go through. We'll give about a half inch, and this is the 14. It's 14.2. So you go through and you line it up with 14, match it up, pull about a half inch off of it. Good. And then these ground wires can just twist up. You can twist them together and then snip the end off. I make special tools to twist it up as well. And get it to that point. Get it to right there. Snip it to where it's lined up, right out of the box. And that one's good to go. And then we're good to go with everything else. So it's good. I don't know if you saw the way that I did this. Like swap one side to one side to the other side. That way you can differentiate.
And the light wires.
And the light wires, yeah. That way you know what's going on. And then it's always a good idea just to double check to make sure, so you don't miswire it. And then when you get into it, doesn't work or something's funky with it. So for this fan actually has a night light. So the light blue wire, the black wire is going to be for the main light. This is going to be if you have an extra switch or an extra space for it, you can put a night light in if you want. Kids and
So what
like
happens
anything.
to the light? It goes in two different modes.
Two different modes. There's just like a tiny LED in for the night light, and then there's a large LED in for the big light. For just the way that everything is set up right now, I'll just wire everything together, and then both come on whenever the light switch is turned on.
Gotcha.
That way, I mean, you can't really tell the difference between the two. And then that's for the light. Then we go in, we go and do the ground, second closest. And you twist on until there's a lot of tension. And you give the wire a tug to make sure that it's not gonna pop out or anything. And then all of the whites, neutrals can go together, which will undo this one too. And for these guys, the ones that are in the fan, I'll twist them together just so they're kind of bonded together already. And then the same process. We're gonna line all of these up. And it's a good idea too, when you have multiple wires, to line them all up to where they're about the same length. And then put the wire nut over top of it. Twist it, twist it, twist it. Until it gets to the point where it's hard tension wise. Tension to pull them apart. And then give it a tug. It's good. And then the last one, the fan one. Fan wire.
So it's all wired up.
It's good. It's good. And now we're going to do our due diligence and check it. And make sure that it's working the way that it should be.
All right.
That's happened a lot, man. Right here. So we disconnected this for a second, just to make sure that we were good with everything. So right here, I'm gonna put a hook on this. That's what this little hole is off to the side. So that's for. You just barely pop it through, enough to where it'll catch. Oh. And then you can create a hook.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's what that's there for.
Oh, okay.
And then when you go and you put it on, you hook to whichever way it's spinning, right? If you want it to lock, you hook it in this way. That's gonna give me. Give me trouble
Maybe
here.
give it a little bit of loosening.
Yeah.
It's okay. That's what editing's for.
So, straighten this back up. All right, so the screw, you know, righty tighty, lefty loosey. The screw is going right to lock, so we'll put it in like that. Just like. And then you see if you look at the wire, it pulls it snug as it's tightening up.
Got it.
So now we're gonna check. Let's see. That doesn't have anything pop up. Yeah, no matter what. Here. Do you wanna, can you hit that switch?
Which one? This one?
Yeah. And then the bottom one. So it might be better to keep. Alright. So now I'm just tucking everything in nicely to where the lid will go on, I can close everything up, and we're good to go. So have that. Another thing about these Panasonics, so you can see, is every screw pretty much has the same tread, like the same depth on it, and the same like pattern on it. So you can, they're interchangeable. You can swap them out from like anything.
Gotcha.
Much.
You can use it for multiple things.
Yeah.
Within the installation of the fan.
Yeah. Like this, I don't even know which one goes where. Honestly, I mean, it's just, they're all the same. They're all the same, yeah.
Which makes it easier.
It makes it very easy. Alright, so that's good. Just brace that wood. And
So right now you're bracing the wood
I'm bracing the wood to
to
the truss. Yeah.
joist.
Yep. That's good. Yep, and then these guys, this guy. So we're gonna rough fit it right now. Make sure it doesn't catch. For this, these fans, I'll show you. We're just rough fitting it right now to double check.
Yeah.
So this tucks on the drywall and presses up against, right? So then we want this brace to be right there,
I got you.
cause so that this can still press in cleanly and not catch on anything. And then we're also gonna do a quick double check and make sure that the fan mounts and fits so that we know. Oh, just tap that on. You're good. Make sure that this Once it fits, we're gonna take this guy off. You don't need this. So in this case, we don't need this piece because we don't have anything to brace to. So we're gonna pop it off. And then I'll also show you, look, again, same screw, same exact screw, so you can use it. And then it's cool too, so like if you do lose or drop a screw, then you have an extra because they're all the same. Makes it a lot easier. Now we're gonna rough fit this guy. And this lines up with this side, right? Where the fan mounts in. So we're good. We're good. It fits in. We're good to go.
Yep. Looks good.
So now I'm gonna brace this exactly where it is. Yep.
I see.
So for now I'm gonna put it drywall screw just to hold it in place.
I got you.
Yeah. And then now everything's the way that it should be. It's easy. We tested it to make sure that it'll fit in. We tested these sides, or mounted this to the side, and then screwed this into place. And then now we're put the duct on. We'll put the duct on.
So how are you doing this exactly?
So this, I use HVAC zip ties. So you have a tension tool that you attach on one side and it tightens.
So this is going to tighten. So you're using the ducting that you have to attach to this, the opening there, or the fan, and then you're just going to put it up into the attic, and you're just going to leave a piece hanging and then connect it up top.
And then connect it up top, yeah, and strap it. So I already have like duct plan lined out. I'm gonna go straight and then do a slight bend to that dryer bend. I'm just gonna push it exactly like you said. Push it up in there, let it sit, then go through and line it up. Yeah.
But you can use the tension tool to make sure that the duct is connected to the fan.
Yeah, and these have so much pressure on them that makes it easy to put on so that it stays in place. And then if anybody goes and tries to like hit it or anything, it'll stay in place. You really have to yank on it to be able to get it off, or snip the zip tie. Yep. And then for the low pros, what you do for these ones
When you say
is
low pro,
low
you're
profile, like the thinner fans.
which means that the
Ducting is oval.
it's sort of like oval.
Yeah.
It's fanned out.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me what you're gonna do.
So it's an oval, so you go through and you press the line, smooth it out, and get it to where it's the same shape, pretty much, right?
So the diameter,
It's the same. It's
Same.
4. It's 4 inches, and this will actually fit like a little bit loose on it. It's not as tight as what like a 4-inch circular line will be. It'll actually fit like when you go to put it on. Give me a little bit of slack here. It's easy to get on. You know, with a regular 4-inch line, if I go to put it on, you have to wiggle it a little bit to get it in. Yeah. So now we're good with this. And for this, make sure that this is either to the side or upright. Because if it's, I mean, now we can't put it to the side because this brace is in the way. So we want it to be on top, so that it's not getting in the way of like anything, pretty much.
So where you finish your zip tie?
Yeah, it does. If you put it on the bottom, it'll catch the drywall and it'll sit like this, like upright, right? Now we're gonna put it right on the top. And then there's actually, on this side of the fan, there's actually a little lip that cuts in a little bit, and it's meant to hold a strap for a zip tie.
So
Yeah,
there's a notch there.
there's a notch. Yeah.
Like a
Yep.
a notch, and it sits there right on top so that it doesn't fall down.
Yep. And then to get it to break, you just squeeze. You squeeze this, pops right off. We're good.
Sweet.
Yep. And then for this, what's that?
beautiful.
Beautiful. And then for this, We're literally just gonna toss it up there for now. Wiggle this into place. And make sure it's snug against this, and we're good. And if you want extra support, so see this right here. If you want extra support, this specific fan here, I'll get on the other side. A little bit closer. This fan on the inside lip, right there, there's two little screw holes where you can mount it.
Yeah.
So I'll hold the square up to it, get it to where it's lined up. Get it to where it's lined up, square, and then zap two screws into it.
All right.
Right?
Yep.
Yep. Here. There we go. It's just about square. And that'll help like ease the process of putting it in too. Because if this is square, it goes in very, very easy. Really, you only need one. I need one, but I'm gonna put two in. Just to like, I don't really need that anymore. Here, I'm actually gonna take you good. I don't want it going in at an angle, so I'm gonna.
I gotcha. And like I said, editing is a beautiful thing, so I can't hold the position for too long.
I got it.
And you'll never know.
There we go.
Sweet.
Now, everything will go in easy peasy. I don't know what the specific hardware is for those other fans. Or for these.
But you use like more of a flathead.
I use more of a flathead because it grips it a little bit better, and I feel like it's sturdier. And this is like here like a comparison. So like this is what it comes with. It comes with one extra screw. Sometimes this won't make it past, like if it's laid in plaster, it's not going to make it past it. Sometimes if it's too thick, or if it's doubled up drywall, or if there's something funky going on. This, and then the head too. The head is like very small. You go into this, it's a little bit bigger, so it catches a little bit more, and then get hold.
And right now you're actually getting ready to put the actual motor, right?
Yep. And then on this side too, I'll show you. There are these two little lips right here. So this is meant to catch these two tabs that are on right where those holes are.
Yeah.
There's two tabs that pop in. And if you go on the other side.
Show you the tabs.
Yep. See these tabs right there. Right there. Right there. The other side. And then when you go and you press this fan out.
Yeah.
It locks into place. Right? And then now it'll pretty much sit on its own. I mean, it's leaning down on one side, but it'll pretty much sit there on its own.
But you're gonna anchor it into you're gonna fasten it into the two pieces of wood.
Correct. Yeah.
From the bottom.
From the bottom, yeah. So go through, we'll line it up right there, literally like right where that is. And then just enough to snug it up to the to the ceiling, to the drywall.
Yeah.
We're good.
Beautiful, beautiful. And it's got a little setting here where you can turn it to 50, 80, 100.
Yep. Yep.
Very nice. So it's in there. So we just need to plug it up.
Yep, that's it.
All right, cool. I'm trying to get the shot in. One.
Maybe it'll get a little closer.
All right, yeah. Now we can just put the cover on?
Yeah. And that's what I was gonna say too, for like when you are patching it out, if it's like a new install or it doesn't line up. Here, do you mind turning that? Sorry, it's like speeding. It's speeding because it's just loose in the attic. So if it doesn't line up perfectly flush with the wall,
Right.
like perfectly square with the wall, it doesn't have to be. Like you can always readjust the shroud to make it fit.
Gives you
Makes
some
sense.
flexibility
It
there.
does. Like about
Room for
a half inch to an inch on both sides. Yeah. And there we go.
Nice.
How's that look?
Very nice.
Dude, this is the stuff that I'll use it for. Use for strapping down the line once it's ran, so that it's ran straight. Yeah, in the attic. I'll strap it to the trusses. I'll get like, I don't know, maybe like 10 feet of it out, and then split it in half again to where it's just big enough to strap the duct down. That's all. Yep. My knife's in there.
And this strap stuff you can get at Home Depot?
You can, yeah. You can get at Home Depot, HVAC supply stores. It's mainly used for holding down HVAC lines so that there's not like turbulence in the line when the pressure system kicks on for the fan. It doesn't jumble the ducts around, so it just holds it into place. And then they use it to get even runs. Get even runs out of things so there's not like hard 90s, slows the airflow down, that kind of stuff. I'm gonna sneak it under this. And then slowly ramp it over to there. I'm gonna sneak it from that.
So what we're doing now is we're improving, you're going
The
to
run.
improve the duct run.
Yeah, because now if you look at it, all right, the way that it's run right now, or was run before, is it goes out right there, a straight up 90 right there, runs down this line, bends, another 90 right there, goes up, and then another 90. So there's three 90s in total. Yeah. So 1, 2. Maybe you can count that as one, and then another one right there.
And what we're going to do is we're going to take it straight from the 4-inch.
And then barely bend it right there. Run it underneath of this duct. Go through, slight incline up to that.
Got it.
Yeah.
Cool, let's check it out.
So I'm going to cut out a section of this line. So what I'm going to do real quick.
Check it over.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Oh, removing insulation out of the way. That's a big squeegee. So what I'm going to do for this, just in case we don't know what's underneath of this, I'm going to set the depth for this so it only cuts through the board. And then get this out of here because this is the old fan. That's the old fan. And then I'm going to cut.
You're pulling it nice and tight, but not too tight.
Pulling it nice and tight, not too tight. This is like outdoor rated duct. So it's rated to be outdoors. It's rated for high heat, so it can be pulled like extremely tight without it snapping or anything. But I'm gonna do the first brace right outside of the fan, right when it hits this point right here. I'm gonna pull it right about about that, so it knocks the ridges out of it. You know, if you look at this side compared to that side, so it knocks the ridges out of it, so we don't have to worry about catching anything.
Friction, right?
Friction, yeah, friction in the line, turbulence in the line. And then I'm gonna staple it down. You do 2 right there, pull it tight. And 2 on that other side, and that's pretty tight. And then the next spot, we're gonna go with it.
On your way.
No, you're good. Right about there. It's very slight. There specifically so I can tie it and pull it out so it's more of like a bend as opposed to like a right angle. Right.
Gotcha.
So no, we really want it to be like that. Yeah. Really want it to be like that so it's not a direct 90.
Right.
And then like that. There we go. There we go. Yeah. Good.
What's wrong?
I'm gonna put something to hang this too.
Okay. So you just basically shorten it a little so it's a nice tight run.
Right.
So
Right,
cut
yeah.
off about what, like a foot or so?
A foot, yeah. Around a foot. That's pretty tight all the way down.
That was sticking out of the wall there like a good foot too.
Yeah.
So you have
Yep.
some play there.
Oh yeah. Like a ton of play. I'm gonna get it to the point where it's probably like all the way close to all the way down. That's it.
Sweet.
And then do the same thing that we did before. Give it a nudge to tighten it up. And I mean that's where it gets its strength from. It's as hard as you can grip it down to the point where it doesn't mash the aluminum in. That's tight. That's crazy tight. Like give it a pretty good yank, it's not gonna come out.
Yep. Sweet.
Yep. That good?
Yeah. Sweet.
So this is the stuff that we use to insulate the line
Okay.
so it doesn't sweat in the summertime.
The duct line.
The duct line.
Because
so
if
when
it's carrying.
cold air with a hot attic, it's gonna sweat. Not so much in the wintertime, only in the summer it's gonna have issues with like sweating, condensation, humidity, high humidity kind of thing. So I use this. This is just like an old duct that I have laying in the back of the truck. I use this as a guide for how much I need, enough to wrap it fully and overlap just a little bit, and then I'll run a knife along it, cut it. Doesn't have to be perfect. You want it to be straight.
So today is day 2, and we just air sealed and insulated this attic. And I just want you to see, this is where the bath fan was. The insulation is now covering it, and you can see what it looks like air sealed. And then here, you can see how the duct has been buried, and the insulated portions are the only portions that are exposed. And then you can see how everything sort of finishes off like you saw yesterday.
Well, you want to snap a picture of this too.
Okay.
FV-0510VSL1. Yeah, that's specific model for